First item on our agenda is to review and approve the minutes of February 4th. Really, it feels like February still.
I know. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Any questions, comments, changes, errors? Where am I? Did we change this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is financial statement. And Doug is sick tonight.
So we have before you February's report, and we have two variances to look at. On page 1, our general supplies is over $1,655.12. We discussed this last month, but there had been some orders that had been placed before Ben had received the report, so now the spending should be at zero level. And then our maintenance of school equipment is over on page 3, $181.74. And this is something we had discussed. There's not enough money budgeted for our copier leases, so this is going to continue to run over. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We have 6 warrants to sign tonight. We have the fiscal agent payroll for February. We have our monthly expense warrant. We have an after-school program warrant. We have expenses for the Horizon program. We have a student activity warrant and a school lunch. And I just, we were notified late this afternoon, Superintendent Barrett had submitted a foundation reserve request in the amount of $95,685 for Sunderland because of our budget being over by the addition of 4 new IAs and then the bereavement benefits that we had to pay out. We were notified late today that we were awarded $40,000 from the Foundation Reserve Fund. So we'll use that to offset our overages this year, and I'm sure the town will be very happy to hear that.
Oh, we should have told Tom.
Well, it's this year.
Anything.
Sounds like good
So
news,
what do you
Marty.
think, do we have any idea of what it's gonna end up at the end of the
I'm gonna be able to tell you that
next month?
Next
When
month.
I've got that, this 40,000, I'll be able to present, so next
Okay.
month we'll bring that forward, this year's projection.
Okay. Okay. Okay, any questions? No? Moving on, public comment. Anybody? Seeing none.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Look into the camera. So moving on to new business, policy EEA, student transportation, and I'm assuming we're gonna discuss and then vote next time?
We are, and I have brought this to 3 of the other school committees. This is the proposal, and if you look at the proposed on policy EEA, go to number 9. The addition that we are asking school committees to consider is grades K through 3 students will not be released from the vehicle unless a parent, guardian, or designated caregiver is present. If this occurs, the child will be returned to the school. Everybody so far has spoken very favorably of this. The bus company is supportive of this. The principals all have guaranteed that there'll be somebody in the office area until 4 p.m. if a child had to be brought back. This, in theory, is in practice right now, but this will give us some leg behind it, so.
Did we notify them? We should after that's done.
Can I ask some questions?
Sure.
Okay. So my first question was, number 3, that, and this is nothing, why is the business manager the person that has to deal with pupils not getting met at their bus stops?
The business manager traditionally, for time and eternity, has dealt with transportation problems. However,
Okay.
because I'm a helpful kind of person, I've been helping Patty with transportation issues this year. But it typically has been the business manager's purview.
Okay, that just seemed like a responsibility outside of your realm. It could be,
I've been doing transportation for 15 years.
oh, okay, okay, I wasn't sure if it should be like an early ed person or.
No.
That I don't have to do.
Yeah.
And it's a typical responsibility.
And that's just everywhere. That's
Yeah,
just the way it
that's
is
the way
in
it
all
is.
districts,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bigger districts, sometimes it's transportation manager, but smaller districts,
Okay, so that's you, and that's all working. Okay, and then the other thing was on some of the other policies that we got to read, there was like a 2 strikes, 3 strikes, and like you can't take the bus, and I just didn't see that.
No, because
indicated here.
I think if if there's a problem, the principal needs to have the authority to deal with the parent on
Okay,
that.
so it's just at the principal's discretion to,
Yeah, because we do have a
Say you-
three-strike out policy for, or protocol for behavior issues.
sure,
And, you know, and that's always up to the principal.
okay,
So,
okay, so we feel good about that, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's, and I loved the number 9, I thought that that was very clear, and the parents I spoke to.
It makes a lot of sense.
Felt like it needed to go beyond
Yep.
the first grade, and I think third grade is,
Mhm.
Yeah. And I appreciate that all the administrations have been, you know, supportive of it, because this is an extra. you
Yeah.
know.
right, and I don't think, you know, I think there's going to be occasional occurrences. From my experience in talking to people, is it usually doesn't happen more than once,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
So we'll sit on this for the month, and then we
Yep.
will,
And then I'll bring it back for,
Vote in
for a
April.
vote in April.
you don't wanna vote on it?
I know, people have said can't, but I'm trying to
know.
follow the
Okay,
protocol that we've
okay,
had.
sure.
let's see. School committee schedule. for next-
Luckily, you have in your packets the new calendar proposed. You have it in front of you. I am not putting my
Do you have it
fingers
up?
on mine, so.
I know, I printed it,
Wow,
and I
that
forgot to
is
grab that one.
distressing. It wasn't in your packet?
No, you know what, Donna sent it as a
That's
separate
right,
one,
she did, let me see if I have it.
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
I printed it out and
The, I'm happy to go make some copies if you guys wanna go to another one. You know, go
Yeah.
to the next item, and I'll be back with these.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think you need, do you need to? I mean,
No,
it's
I
the
don't need
typical
to. I mean, we're
schedule.
pretty much
Yeah.
following the same
Right.
schedule
It's
that we
just
have.
there was
with the parent
nothing,
schedule.
yeah.
Yeah, occasionally with some of the other towns due to vacations or
We make
holidays,
adjustments.
we had to make a switch, and that's
Mhm.
denoted with an asterisk, but I think Sunderland is pretty straightforward.
It's right on.
It was,
Yeah.
it was, seemed like it always, yeah.
Except for
Except for
one.
the vacation
Right,
month.
right.
Isn't that
Usually we
April,
change.
right? Yeah,
February has a,
February.
and February
Yeah.
around
The
budget.
2 vacation months that we usually have to alternate.
Mm-hmm.
So do I have a motion to approve the school committee schedule for 2014-2015 year?
So moved?
All
I'll
those in-
second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the school calendar.
School calendar is a bit different, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Couple of things. Years ago, and I don't know how many years ago, there were days, half days built in for professional development. Last year, it was voted to do 3 parent conferences, half days, and then 2 in April. So they reduced it by 1. No time for professional development. So what has happened as a result is Louise Law, the elementary curriculum coordinator, has had to do all these grade level meetings and department meetings and curriculum meetings during the school day. So she's pulling teachers out of classrooms on a regular basis and having to get subs. So what I am suggesting is that we at least add 2 half days. One, I believe it's September 26th, and then another one in April, to try to alleviate some of the time that teachers have to be out of classrooms. And it's a real conundrum because we're mandated to provide all of these trainings. We're mandated by their contract and by the DESE requirements, and yet we have very little time for them to do it.
Mm.
So, and it's expensive when you have to get that many substitutes.
Right.
And I think it really impacts the quality of the education for the kids in the classroom when they don't have their teacher there. So what I'm proposing is, at least for next year, to have 2 half days, one in the fall, one in the spring. We are having to come up with a new math curriculum to come along with the Common Core. And so we're examining new programs right now, but that's gonna take some time to have teachers trained and up to speed on that and talk to their colleagues in other schools. The other thing is something that won't happen again until 2025, It's the way Christmas falls, but I'm proposing that we do 2 weeks at Christmas. And the reason for that is I could have asked people to come back on that Monday and Tuesday before the Christmas break. Somehow that seemed mean-spirited. And I thought there's some advantages to having a 2-week break. Families can actually do something. I know it does present some childcare issues. You can air the building out. You can turn the heat down. You can also get some projects done in a building, custodial projects, that you can't do if you've got 8 days. It's not something that we'll offer, again, like I said, till 2025. So it does put us until, I think the last day is proposed the 15th.
15, is it?
180 days is 180 days, wherever you go. So that's my proposal. It has been voted by the other 3 committees that have seen it thus far.
Is there a limit on half-days that you can do?
No, half-days count as a day. What you're required to do is to have 900 hours of time on learning.
Okay.
And we more than meet that requirement.
Right.
It's 900 at the elementary, 990 at the high school.
Would we be offering after-school type of programs for those half-days?
Oh, yeah, same thing as we
As
do with
we
parents.
always do.
Yeah. No, that wouldn't change. It would just be a time to, have the teachers be able to get together and get trained,
Instead of having a substitute.
instead of having a
classrooms.
substitute.
No, of course.
You know.
But and then have at least an alternative for the parents to
Right,
deal
right,
with it if they want to work.
right. Because it is a balance between working parents and trying to
Yeah.
meet everybody else's requirements.
Yeah.
Is there any questions you have on that?
I think that makes sense.
Absolutely.
The 2 weeks at Christmas too, I think that makes sense.
Some people said, oh, I'm gonna make my
I
travel
do.
plans now.
It's
so-
true, when you see it though,
I
you
know,
can make, yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
changes.
And some people do.
Yeah, I
There were
like
some
it.
people in a couple of the other committees that had strong feelings. Right.
Deal with
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right.
I think it'd be a really hard
Right.
to do. And I also disagree with the 3 half-days for conferences. I think that that's just excessive and that there should be an evening. One of those should be an evening that parents can get to, even 3 to 5. I'm not talking about until 8 o'clock at night. But I think it would be interesting to see, how full it is from noon to 3 on 3 days in a row.
Do teachers accommodate people beyond the school day?
Occasionally, we do try to
Okay,
fit in the schedules, within the contractual hours.
right. My curiosity is going to be how many people avail themselves of the April conference days. They really are supposed to be only for parents who request them based on the report card that they're gonna get the week before. My hope frankly is that not many people take advantage of them. And maybe we can reduce those and make it, instead of having 2 parent conference days, maybe do an additional half-day for in-service and just eliminate one of the half-days.
one of them.
I think the
So.
half-day in-service days make a lot of sense, and I understand that, but I do disagree with the 3 full half-days in October, and I do think that a 2-week break is, I think we should come back to school for the 22nd and 23rd, but that's how I feel, and 3 other schools have voted on this already, so we pretty much don't have a choice.
Well, I suppose.
And I'm the only one who is disagreeing, so
Right.
I think it's a real stretch for families. Cause we do have an after-school program, but you have to pay for
Or
it.
you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But there isn't anything during that 2 weeks.
But yeah, the 2 weeks is off.
2 weeks is off.
No, the after school only will be for the half days.
Right,
Right.
with the
So,
2 weeks
for
of
the conferences.
vacation. I think, giving parents really good notice and saying, just please note, Christmas vacation is.
Well, we're bringing the
extended
calendars a month
and-
early to you, too.
Mhm.
Typically,
Oh,
I
this
thought
does not,
so,
yeah.
because I was,
Typically,
okay.
you don't get them until April,
Mhm.
so that was also, because it is a change, we wanted to get the information
I
out
just think you're
early.
gonna get a lot more out of kids in December than you are in June, and we do have all this Common Core and all this MCAS testing and all this stuff that these kids are working so hard on. And it's just, I think that there's just a lot of proof you're gonna get a lot more out of them in the winter than you are in June. And, there's just, we have to look at the value of
You know, Tracy, I asked the teachers that too, because they felt that, the trade-off, because that week before Christmas is often when they're so hyper anyway, that they didn't see a whole lot difference between having, because it's usually a day and a half. Usually the day before Christmas break is a half day.
So it's
And,
just a day and a half,
right,
right?
so that
But it counts as a full day.
it does count as a full day, right.
And that's actually what I was just gonna say, Tracy, as a teacher, those couple days before Christmas, I mean, it really ends up being a wash, really. I mean, I end up working with, obviously, my crew is younger, much younger. They are so wired and so excited, and it's a good time to do some fun things, but, you know, I mean, it could be a little bit different, obviously, in the older grades, but it's tough to rein them in, at least for during that time period, during those 2 days before Christmas. It's a tough one.
And I feel like we did this
It's a
once
tough one, but I hear you. I do. I
mean,
get ya.
know.
I had one of my kids on that week, it's
I get ya.
98 degrees, you know, it's.
Right,
Yeah.
it can be
it's
very
real-
hot, I know.
It's brutal,
Yeah.
but that's how I feel, so I said it.
Okay.
And, you know, I think that the 3-day too, I have to agree, I think that I don't know if that's part of your discussion, coming up, or if it's something you could talk about, like, to see how many parents, you know, maybe in like a Deerfield, they need those 3 full days, whereas in Sunderland and the other schools, like, how does, you know, does.
Northampton has parent conferences at night. They have one in the
A lot of school
afternoon and the
districts
rest
do,
are at night,
yeah.
so that,
I was gonna say, isn't
That's
that
what
a
It
contract
is,
issue?
it is.
But
it
I've
is.
also, I have to tell you, I've also, over the past few years, asked teachers about that. I've had one parent ask me that, you know, about that, and, when I've talked to teachers, they've always said, we have been absolutely accommodating to anyone that wants to meet outside of, you know, that they can't do it.
I
They
know when I
make
was
time
here,
at
they would come
7.
at 7:30.
Every year
morning.
we've
You
done
know.
it before because my
Right.
wife is a teacher and I work,
Right.
so we do it always like at 7:30 in the
Right.
morning.
And they accommodate, and they do.
Yeah,
They-
every year for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
But I will ask, I'll
But-
ask the other principals.
But the
Tracy.
night, it
Right.
makes a lot of sense to the
Right.
night, you know.
one mom, 3 kids. you know.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
Right.
And that does happen, but many times the conferences can fit, you know, within the school day. You know, as far as the April or the second parent-teacher conferences are concerned, sometimes there are years where there are a bunch of conferences, even though they're optional. In other years, there's not as many.
Right, and like
So
you
it really
said, it's
depends on the
available.
classroom, depends on the
Yeah.
grade. It changes from year to year.
Yeah,
So
how
it
many
might be
you
a
have to
point of
fit in.
discussion.
No, it's good, no, people have not brought that up this year, so.
Because it is a relatively new thing that we've done, you know.
I think this is the first year for the,
This was the first.
This was the first year,
First
right?
year we did that.
Coming up.
Yeah. So. just
Well, what happens is the reality of this is there's also 5 snow days that are gonna show up
Right.
in here.
No, there isn't.
No.
There's not gonna
Well,
be
no,
any.
and this year, 4 of them ended up at the end of vacation weeks.
Right,
I mean, it's very
Yeah,
complicated.
yeah.
Yes, you know, I mean,
right.
well, the tech school was closed for 2 weeks at Christmas. So the 2 days that we had to call a snow day, they were already off for vacation. So they looked brilliant,
Yeah,
you know, but.
but you're right, Trey, because then you're looking at 2.5 weeks.
right, so it's the
Right.
3
But-
half days and then the Halloween storm and 5 days off. No, I mean, it's, this is,
Yeah.
there's a
Oh,
lot of
good.
stuff that doesn't appear here that everybody
Right.
lives with, so. You know, it's just, we have to remember that that's dropped right on top of this.
Yeah.
And we're coming back in on the 28th.
Yeah.
We are,
Any more thoughts, discussion? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second, anyone?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 opposed or abstained or,
I'm opposed to it.
okay, well, that's
So
fine. I just wanted to
have
get
to
it for
be
the
honest
minutes.
about it
Okay.
because every,
democracy,
yeah.
how it should be.
That's why we,
Absolutely, Tracy, don't
that's
feel
why we
bad.
vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, so.
And it's not 'cause I don't like the holidays. I love the holidays, I just.
Grinch.
you're representing another point of view that I think is very
I'm
important.
sure that, yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that this
Managing a
is,
family and
you know, when
one
we,
grown up in the house.
Right.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
and when you know, I'm sure that Marty will remember this when we have our, you know, when we discuss it, when you look at the calendar next year.
Yeah, yeah,
And-
yeah.
And I'll
No
be here.
time at Christmas.
Yeah,
And you can thank Tracy Zachary.
no Christmas break.
Yeah.
Then you'll really be in trouble, Tracy. Okay.
Tracy, we always appreciate your viewpoint.
Absolutely. Next item is, appointment of school principal.
So about 2.5 weeks ago, you want to each take one of these and pass it around. I appeared before the Sunderland staff, and it was teachers and instructional assistants, and it's both pages. And I said to them that I had a survey that was based on DESI standards that principals have to meet, and I excused Ben at the time, and asked them to complete it and to be honest, and to give me feedback. And they asked what I was going to do with the feedback, and I said, well, it will determine what the process is for finding a principal, and depending upon the responses, determine our course of action. So I got the responses back, and what I can share with you. You want to just take a look at the question? In some cases, they did not have any information to make a decision, and so, you know, they indicated that. So this doesn't have the individual responses, but there were 33 people who did respond. And as you look at that, green is good, red is bad. I have an extra one here if you want. I couldn't have been more thrilled with the responses, because it was overwhelmingly clear that,
100%.
yeah, they
question mark.
value Ben and his expertise. And this goes to show another quality of character that Ben has. Before I met with him to go over these results, and he knew that I was doing this, obviously. He said, can I take the survey and rate myself? Because he's very self-reflective. He's very able and willing and wanting to take constructive criticism and improving himself. He was much harder on himself than the staff was. And he knows that there are a couple of areas within curriculum and perhaps early childhood education that he needs to bone up on, but there is no principal out there that doesn't have an area of weakness and some area of strength.
It's gonna be something to look up.
I can tell you, if I had done a search nationwide, I wouldn't have gotten results like this. So, I met with a couple school committee members and told them what my plan was. And so I am very happy to say that Ben Barshevsky has been appointed as the new Sunderland Elementary principal. And we have negotiated a contract, and I'm very excited about that. I think he will represent your school and community very, very well. And I'm just thrilled. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to come back at 8 a.m. and I'm going to meet with the staff and tell them the results. And then I will send them an email out to all the faculty, because Deerfield is acutely sad. So, yeah,
Yes.
and so
Breaking some hearts.
they need to know that. So, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, he has been working so hard. We have put him through the ringer. We have had a retired principal working with him. He and I speak daily. Louise is here. Karen Ferrandino, I think you've been through about 3 graduate programs this year. So it is, yeah. And he's a quick study. He's bright. He's funny. The kids like him. The faculty love him. The community loves him. So, so I think you're in really good hands.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Very
You
exciting.
belong here in Sunderland.
Here.
Yay.
You're stuck.
No.
So that's what I have.
Imagine if the
Wonderful.
kids filled this out.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You know what, it would just be all 100s.
I know, I know.
And sixth grade would be all because he's cute.
Very exciting.
That is very exciting.
Next.
You're brave. I think you're really brave too. You know what I mean? It's a big job. It's a big job and a
Big shoes to fill, and
hard job. Thank you.
I think that's it with all of our discussion items. Moving on to reports. Two things. One, I just want to say welcome, Ben, and thank you so much. Really, it's been a sort of wild, quick, 6 months has it been? And
Yeah.
Certainly has been.
we really appreciate
And sad. There's still all these.
Oh,
these
sure.
pa-
Between
like
everything that we-
pangs
yeah, I mean,
happening,
it's
and
just
you're
been-
really able to
yeah,
temper all that. Yeah.
absolutely. So we're really lucky. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you like validate it. You know what I mean? I agree, Justine. It's very.
And exciting stuff to come, I think.
Absolutely.
Great stuff, yeah. So thank you and congratulations, and we're lucky to have you. So, and we're sorry, Deerfield.
I know, we're sorry, Deerfield.
Not really.
Not really, but
Not really, but we have to say it to be nice.
Christine is very gracious.
And I just want to say on another personal sort of note that I just want to thank Ben and everybody that supported us here at the school this past weekend for the basketball tournament again, which was crazy great, and the kids had a great time, and it was a wild ride. We raised a ton of money, which was amazing, and you saw the whole community and the baskets, and it was an awesome weekend here.
So exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting.
And how
So
much
thank
money
you.
you raised, or?
The baseball we raised between ad sales from the book and,
Concessions.
concessions.
Yeah.
Hot dogs.
Popcorn.
dogs. Almost $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge, and well, like we always say, it's those, it takes care of those fields, and
Right.
hopefully we'll
Yeah.
have a Sunderland team this year, and,
There is one.
yeah.
The
Is there,
second
they did
graders,
it?
yeah. There's enough for their own baseball team this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there's 14 Sunderland kids for the second grade baseball team. For the
14?
first time in many years,
In
right?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, we just haven't had enough kids, and then now, so it just
Wow,
goes to
that's
show,
great.
our enrollment is up here at the school,
Yeah.
we've got.
Kids
Yeah.
are
the
here,
kids are
yeah.
here, and.
They're using the town spaces. and-
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're actually gonna hopefully do make some big improvements at the field this year, because we've sort of saved up some, money. So, thank you to everybody, because we had so many people
Thank
helped
you,
out.
Justine.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
This woman was here for 4 days. She slept
It was good.
underneath Erica's desk.
The worst part was somebody cooked popcorn in my office this morning, and I was like, are you crazy?
Oh, you couldn't stand
I was
the
gonna say you
smell
lived
it.
off of
Smell.
popcorn and hot dogs. Yeah.
Really? Who did that? So, thank you all. Lots of, and this is, busy time coming up, April and May in
May,
school,
yeah.
it's very
Crazy.
exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I have, and we don't have Doug. Doug is actually home sick with that bug. I told him to stay there.
Please. But we hope you get better, Doug.
So we have no collaborative, but Principal Barszewski. No more interim.
Well, a lot has gone on in the past month. On Monday, February 10th, students throughout the district traveled down to the Soldiers' Home in Holyoke and presented the veterans with Valentine's Day cards. And this has been going on for a few years, and it's actually put on by the out-of-school time director, Deb Lane. And so it was a really neat event, and 4 6th grade students represented Sunderland for that. A couple weeks ago, the Merit Memorial Committee had its first meeting to make plans for going forward. in addition to the softball field that's being put up on the campus, we are thinking about putting in a perennial garden outside the office hallway. And the Merritt family has donated $6,000 to Sunderland to be used at our discretion. And so that's hopefully will pop up within the next couple months. On March 1st, Heidi Jibo and Jeannie Johnson coordinated a Hoops for Heart and Jump Rope for Heart event for the students of Sunderland and Whately. We had approximately 100, actually around 100 kids participate in both jumping rope and basketball. And they also provided a CPR class for parents during the event. Friday, March 7th, we had members of the Amherst College men's football team and Frontier varsity boys basketball team come in for Read Across America Day at Sunderland. And they read Dr. Seuss books to the kids, and Rachel Kidder and Susan Lemishow organized the effort. And
That was a great event.
it really
I enjoyed
was.
that so much going into the classes. That was a lot of fun.
I think the big kids really liked it. The older, these guys really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They were really in. It felt like when I saw them in the hallway, they weren't sort of rolling their eye, like
Right.
they were really here
Yeah.
and happy.
Yeah, the Amherst College, they were in, two of them were in the 4th grade, and one finished reading Green Eggs and Ham, and his buddy goes, "You read really well." It was so cute because he was really sincere.
Hope so.
He was so funny.
Well, the entertaining part was after the books were read, where the kids were allowed to ask
Questions?
questions.
Yeah.
So you could just
I
imagine
can
what was
just
coming
imagine.
up. Yeah.
That's when you
Anything
gotta
and
write things
everything.
down.
Justine, you already touched on the basketball tournament and the man cake breakfast.
It's called the man
It
cake.
is called the man cake breakfast, and
So funny.
Yeah.
actually, Amy's husband Mike spearheaded the whole thing, and he was the man in the kitchen, and he organized all of us. And Chief Gilbert and myself were able to serve the food to the guests, and so it was a good experience for
Was it
everyone.
served by men? Is that what
Yes.
it's
I
meant?
think
It's
so.
all men in
Yes.
the kitchen.
Ah,
Men in the
okay.
kitchen.
All right.
Yeah. It's all the dads volunteer.
Okay.
And back page. About a month ago, Marty brought to the principals meeting an initiative that started by a local group in New Hampshire called Local X. The initiative was called Bully X, and their aim is to help promote acts of kindness and anti-bullying messages in schools, not only in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, but across the country and throughout the world. So our district participated in this event, and each student was provided with a red piece of paper, wrote an anti-bullying message on it, or why it's important to be nice to their peers, to their classmates. And all those papers were shipped out to Las Vegas, where a giant X is going to be constructed with everything that's been collected. A video will be taken and posted on YouTube for the kids to see.
And our schools will be listed, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. They're gonna
cool.
do it in the desert. And we sent off about, I think 800,
Wow.
so.
A lot of
yeah,
messages.
yeah.
And we use the initiative as as another opportunity, one of many that we talk to the kids about bullying and the importance of being nice and what to do, what not to do. And I think as adults we send such important messages to the kids through the way we talk to one another, through the way we treat one another, and it's really a team effort, to try to teach them proper habits. Upcoming events. Well, we started off with the ELA writing composition test for 4th grade today for MCAS, and over the next couple weeks, grades 3, 5, and 6 will be participating as well. Tomorrow night is a Nature's Classroom parent meeting at 5 p.m. On March 21st, Friday, March 21st, by the Berkshire or Bay State Franklin Medical Center, there's going to be a blood and guts presentation on human anatomy.
I love that.
It is a great presentation.
That is.
And on April 3rd and 11th, the SAFE will be at Sunderland, the Student Awareness of Fire Education. And finally, April 4th is Wear Blue for Autism Day at Sunderland. Yep. And that's the.
Just to add to that too, Ben, that weekend, April 6th, I know a lot of the staff here and parents have started Team Merit for the Autism Walk in Amherst on that
Correct.
Sunday. So that's happening that weekend as well. I wish I could remember the actual website, but anybody can join.
It is
Do you remember?
Autism Speaks.
Autism,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
you can donate.
Yep.
But it's really shaped, it's quite a team now. It's really kind of nice, so. And the family's really supportive, and they've offered to buy everybody on the team, you know, special T-shirts, and, yeah, it's really nice. I believe Lee and Jeannie started it?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so, just another really nice thing happening. Yeah.
It's all good.
Mhm.
Is that it?
That's it.
That it? My goodness. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Superintendent.
I don't have a written report, but I have some handouts for you. There's some upcoming trainings. As I get these, I try to make you aware, and also to let you know the annual Stan Rosenberg breakfast is coming up April 12th, and I have some handouts for that. I am gonna go to that this year. You know, it's always interesting to get some information firsthand, but I also like hearing the other concerns of people in the areas around us, because we really are all sharing in the same frustrations, and so I'll be going to that. I wanted to let you know too that Bill Deal is the new director for the collaborative. He wants to come and meet with all the school committees, and I'm gonna put something on the agenda for April about that. I think he forgets that there's 5 of us, so I don't know that he wants to come out 5 times, so, but he does wanna come out, and we do have to have a vote taken on a couple of initiatives that they have, so that'll be on for the April agenda, and then I'll see if he truly does wanna come out 5 times. Maybe I'll have him come in May.
Do we have a group meeting coming up?
The only one we have is in June, when I would do for evaluation. But I don't know if he wants to. I asked him. I sent him an email. And if he wants to wait till June, that's fine. We can do that. So that's all I have for you.
On that, just thinking on the bullying thing. So I know we have a couple of new teachers, and we used to have the second step. Am I saying that right? They would come and they did their training here.
Yes, they did.
I'm wondering what kind of training are they getting, the newer staff?
Are you still using second step in the school?
In
You
the
are.
classrooms. I think that a couple of them I know have been in the classrooms before they became
That's true.
teachers here, which is a huge advantage, but, yeah, I mean, I think that's such a great program that, just to keep on top of that, and to have, we also had a number of teachers go to the second level of it. It was fabulous. When it was here, they would give tuition to a couple of our teachers. It was really nice, but that's been at least 2 or 3 years
At
we
least,
haven't
yeah.
had it now. So, just sort of keep it in. Because, we start
Yeah.
these things, and I know that was just we were really ahead of our time, implementing it on the schools, so keep it going. The
But it's a
morning
good
meeting.
reminder, because staff turnover is so quick, and 2-3
Right.
years can go by, and suddenly you go, oh, 50% of my staff
That
is
whole
new,
group
and
is-
they've not
yeah.
had this, so
Right.
that's an important,
And we do have 3 retire.
yes, you do, 4.
Sorry.
4.
So. That's all. I think we're done. Does anybody have anything else? Any questions, comments?
I think.
I signed.
Do that.
Yep. Gotta double check, but I think they are.
Do I have a motion to adjourn at 8:52? 7:52, I'm sorry.
I have a motion to adjourn at 7:52 and a half.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.